This video profiles a section of blue rag track which runs between the Dargo High Plains Road and the Trig Point. The track is seasonally closed, so here we are going through the gates. I have to say that we were extremely surprised at the state of the track compared to what it was like several years ago when we last passed through. The track is extremely cut up. There's a lot of exposed rock, there's lots of loose rock, and there are wombat holes all over the place where people are spinning their tyres. And you can see that the track's widened as well because as people try to find easier ways to pass through in different sections. Probably the worst part of the track was between the Dargo High Plains Road and the Basalt North track. You can see there's a few wombat holes there, some really serious digging going on here. And there's probably a whole stack of reasons why this has happened, but there's some more wombat holes. They're huge. I'm just suspecting that a lot of people may not be deflating their tyres, and that causes so many issues on so many levels. Not only are you just ripping your tyres apart, but you don't get the traction or the comfort and the associated safety that comes with lowering your tyre pressures. The good thing is there were some great sections of the track that were very much easy to drive and safe, and you can see we were just cruising along there fairly easily. I was really keen to see what the telemetry was in terms of track slopes. Here we are just popping up into one of the little campsites. Some incredible views from some of these little spots, as you'll see. My wife was having kittens at this point as she was convinced we were going to go down the other side of the hill. The telemetry was interesting because I wasn't quite sure what sort of track slopes were involved out to the Trig Point, because I do recall a couple of short, sharp climbs when we did it years ago. And I must say, the track's actually quite a gentle track overall. The track slopes don't go much above 15 degrees. So that sort of puts it down into almost one of the easier tracks in Victoria, to be honest. It's not that steep, which surprised me a little bit. Overall, traction's pretty good. There's a lot of loose gravel in some sections, and particularly as you get closer to the Trig Point, there's a few sections which are quite rough and gravelly, and you do need to be very careful picking your way up through those areas. As you get closer to the Trig Point, the track definitely feels like it narrows, and it does follow a very defined narrow ridge. Absolutely spectacular views in this section of the track. Just before the Trig Point, there were quite a few cars parked along the track, and a motorcyclist had had a few falls, and it was really good to see some four-wheel drives up there giving him a hand to get him on his way again. Here we are on the final climb, heading towards the Trig Point. You can see that 18.5 degrees is probably the steepest slope in this section of the track. And here we are approaching the Trig Point. A couple of tips on safe driving along the Blue Rag track. Definitely use all-terrains or mud tyres, lower your tyre pressures and make sure you engage low four-wheel drive. Depending on conditions, the trip can take up to 2 hours. And if you liked watching this video, check out the part 2, the other side of Blue Rag on our channel. Catch you out there.